Well, the trial of a Plainville woman accused of encouraging her friend to kill himself through text messages is now underway.
And this has become a national story. Michelle Carter sat in the courtroom today as lawyers laid out their cases. Now, she's charged with manslaughter after her friend Conrad Roy died in his truck of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's a first-of-its-kind case merging technology, First Amendment issues, and the law. And criminal defense attorney Phil Tracy joins us this evening. Thank you so much for coming in.
Great to be here with both of you.
Yes.
So the prosecution is going to focus on one particular moment, which seems to be the most shocking, that Roy allegedly got out of the car, he was scared, and called Michelle Carter, and she allegedly told him to get back in the vehicle. He did, and that's when he ended his life. In addition to what came out in court today, that she contacted him 40 times in the last few weeks of his life asking when he was going to kill himself. So at what point does this cross the line from being her right to free speech to criminal activity?
It absolutely shocks the conscience of people, the community, family members, people who may have suffered from a suicide of any sort, whether it's a teenager or whatever. They're totally shocked, and that's exactly why they decided to go with a judge rather than a jury, because there could be some emotion involved in deciding whether or not she did cross the line that you've just alluded to. The problem simply here is that we live in a different society. Tweeting, texting, emails, they're all part of the new lexicon of what we do with legal cases. No question about it. This case went to a judge to dismiss. No dismissal. Went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court emphatically said she enabled, abetted, and did everything she possibly could to make him do this. And but for her, he might not have. Now, the defense is going to counter with, this is a suicide, not a homicide. He had suicidal ideation from before. They put his family on, who seemed to say he was doing very well until he encountered her and became her girlfriend. Now, I mean, it's just shocking to people. It's disturbing, to say the least.
You were mentioning that she elected to waive a jury trial. A judge is going to decide this case. Could that potentially backfire on the defense?
It could, from one standpoint, that the judge maybe feel a compulsion at the end of the case to sentence her to some sort of prison term in this matter, as opposed to potentially giving her some sort of probation. Now, you'd say, wow, because the case is so close to the edge as far as whether or not it meets the legal standard, if a jury found her guilty, the judge could say, all right, she's guilty, and I'm going to, you know, give her somewhat of a break on the sentencing end of this. Because if you look at her, she's pathetic herself. I mean, I would hate to think of her in prison. But the reality is, you know, after he hears the whole case, he may decide, I've got to impose a sentence of some sort. And that's when it backfires.
In terms of the law surrounding what she is charged with, what this judge
involuntary manslaughter.
Right, and what the judge will have to decide. She texted him in one text, all you have to do is turn on the generator and you will be free and happy. Another text said, you just need to do it, Conrad. No more waiting. And then he killed himself. So what does the law say?
Well,
the judge has to decide.
The law is murky, to say the least, in all of these areas. Now, you remember the Dr. Jack Kevorkian cases. Those were suicides assisted, and he was convicted of those charges, where the patient was willing and eager to commit suicide because they were terminally ill and in pain. This kid was backing away from that, you know, and to his family, but for her, he would have got out of that car and he would not have followed through. Now, it's a very callous,
But is that manslaughter in Massachusetts?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Sure. And the judge is going to decide the answer. I say I don't know, but the elements of the crime require a wanton, reckless, careless, intentional disregard for the human life. And I think all of those things fit in with her telling him to get back in the car and complete the plan.
Phil Tracy, the judge will decide. We will see you again soon. Thank you so much for coming on. Eric, over to you.